Welcome to our second Q&A session. I've had some more questions, so here we go. First one is, what do I do when my ego starts to whisper? Yeah, ego will try to fool you, but ego will also remain emphatic. So ego, if it whispers to you, if you don't listen, it will repeat, and then it'll repeat again. And then it'll say it in a new way until pretty soon it's not whispering anymore. When intuition whispers, it's a, psst, hey, don't go there, or psst, hey, eat this. It doesn't care whether you listen or not. So it generally, you'll hear it once, and if you don't follow it, if you don't pay attention, if you don't interact with it, it just goes away. Ego, though, if you ignore it, it wants to repeat. It wants to make sure that you heard it, and it wants to make sure that you act on it. So, if you need to test the whisper, just ignore it. See if it comes back. And if it comes back, well, then it's probably ego. If it doesn't come back, well, then I hope you remember what it was saying to you. And I hope that answers that question. Number 2, how do I cope with the dread of possible unintended consequences? I believe this means in terms of change. So if you're going to try something new or make a new choice you haven't made before, it's easy to get worried about how this is going to impact your friends, family, coworkers, or other aspects of your life that you aren't currently paying attention to. The answer is that there are unintended consequences to everything you do. And, you cannot possibly pay attention to everything going on in your life. You are not omniscient yet, I assume, otherwise you wouldn't have need for these videos. So what you get to do is you don't need to cope with anything. What you get to recognize is that anytime there is change, there is going to be this voice attempting to prevent it. And, it's not that ego hates change, it's that ego desires and requires safety. And change is the unknown, it's the unfamiliar, and ego does not know that it is safe. Ego's like, hey, if we don't know what that is, then it might be dangerous, so let's just not go there. The dread of unintended consequences is an attempt to prevent change. It's simply the voice saying, oh wait, then maybe this other thing will be not good enough if you go there, if you do that. And it's just an attempt to prevent change. So I'd say, you know what, step into your change and enjoy the unintended consequences. They might be positive. And there's just no way for you to know, right? There's no way for you to know. But I'd say go with what feels right in your body. If you feel like doing something and it feels good in your body and yet your mind is afraid of unintended consequences, always go with your body. That's, the only advice I ever give anybody is do what feels right in your body. Do what feels right. And, the thoughts that might swirl around that may or may not be real. They may or may not have anything to do with reality at all. So I would just go forward, and then if there are unintended consequences that you don't like, well, then lesson learned, right? You learn the lesson. that's a positive thing always. Third question. I'm looking to try something that caused burnout before, and I'm afraid it'll happen again. I assume the burnout. I'm afraid it'll happen again, so I resist doing it. How can I embrace change without burning out? When you are being authentic and following your own personal heart's desire, when you are following what your body is pulling you to do, you will not experience burnout. Burnout happens when we do something that somebody else has told us is the right thing. Right? If something feels right to you because all these other people are doing it, that isn't you being authentic. That is you attempting to be good enough, attempting to be just like all these other people that are good enough. And you know what? If it's not authentic to you, you're just going to crash and burn. When we aren't being ourselves, when we are coping with not knowing something or feeling like people aren't going to want what we do, we end up using a lot of energy to, whether it's denial or we're masking it, or if we're using a lot of energy to step into this new person we'd like to be, we're simply overstretching. That is an overstretching. And then what happens is when you stop the activity, you slam back down and burn out. And I've experienced it. I still do sometimes if I push myself too hard. And you know what? That's just part of the fun and part of finding out where your boundaries are. So the thing I'd say is do what feels right in your body, not what you think feels right in someone else's body, if that's what's going on. So that's today's questions. If I misinterpreted them, send them again. I'm always happy to answer questions. This video series is almost over, and when it is over, you can still send me questions and hopefully they'll still get answered. And this is August 9th, 2018. So a few years have gone by. Don't be afraid about sending your questions in, because there's always, hopefully always will be somebody to answer those emails. And that's it. There's, I think, one more video left, and then you will be at least halfway complete with this workshop, because the last thing you do to finish this workshop is to watch all the videos again. And thank you for watching this far. Thank you.